What is a static page? What are the differences between static and dynamic website? More of this in this video. Stay tuned to It Learns. Hello people, welcome to It Learns. In this video we'll be starting the topic Java servlets, and before marching on to Java servlets, first we'll look at some terminologies that are being used in Java servlets, and these are basic terminologies. That is, what is a client server, what is a dynamic and static website, what are the differences between them, what is HTTP, differences between get and post method, what is a web or application server, and what is a content type. And to read them in brief, to learn them in brief, we have divided them in two parts. We'll be learning them in two parts. First we'll be focusing on the top three, and the second video will be focusing on the last four. So with all that being said, let's get started. First of all, what is a client or what is a server? We all know that what internet is. It is a network of computers all around the world connected to each other, right? So if a computer wants a file from computer 3, say we want image 1 from computer 1, so the computer 1 sends a request to get the image, and the computer 3 responds with image. So in this case, the computer who's requesting for the resource, this is our resource. The computer that is requesting for the resource is called client, and the computer that is providing the resource is called the server. So when there are lots of networks and lots of computers in the network, so we can also have a central repository, that is a central server, computer with a large database can act as a server and with different computers attached to it. So computer 1, computer 2, computer 3, computer 4. So if a computer 1 wants some resource from computer 3, he'll send a request to server will get the resource from the computer 3 and will provide it to computer 1, right? So in that case as well, all the computers will be behaving as a client, whereas there is one central server, right? So this is what we call a client server model. Okay, so moving on to the next thing. What is a static site? Static site is basically a website that contains static web pages. And by static web pages, we mean pages that are used to display static information. Now, example of this is a website of a company or product. Or product. Now, client asks for home.html of a company, sends a request, server has the page, right, and we have On the page is logo of the company, some information about company, and the server has the page. Server sends the page as a response to client. Right. So the page is pre-built. We do not have to generate the page on runtime. The page is pre-built, and it resides on the server, and whenever the server gets the request, he responds with the page. Now, what is a dynamic site? We know what a static website is. Static pages. On a dynamic website, I'm sorry, there is going to be dynamic site. On a dynamic site that is generated on a runtime, right? The content is generated on a runtime. What is the example of that? For example, Facebook page. Now, let's say client has requested to the server for his profile.html. Now the server looks for profile.html, but the problem with profile.html that it only has the information that there's going to be a pic, but doesn't know the address of the pic that is going to be placed in. It has some information that there's going to be something about, some timeline and context. It has the information that needs to be it has the framework of the information that needs to be placed here, but doesn't have the data. It knows that there is going to be a pic, it has been coded there, but doesn't have the information of the, so that's why server goes to database, because it has the address of the database, right? So goes through database. Database is basically string of characters, so name, about, timeline and context. For Shiv, Rahul and Amar. Now if we have asked for, let's say it's going to be A, B, C for Shiv, D, E, F for Rahul and G, H, I for Amar. Now we assume that the profile.html that we asked for is for Shiv. The server looks for details of Shiv in the database, and for Shiv in the database, about is going to be A, timeline is going to be B, and context is going to be C. No, in case the profile.html is going to be for Rahul, and it will be like profile/rahul.html. The server will understand that the client is asking for a profile.html for ID Rahul. He looks in the database for information of Rahul and gets it updated here, and the pic also gets updated accordingly. The page loads, the information goes from database to here, page generates, gets to server responses with profile.html. And every time there is a change in the content of the page profile.html, it's going to be updated accordingly. If there is a change in the database, if there is a change in the database in the information of here information of the user, the changes are going to be updated accordingly in the page, and the server will respond with the updated page. So every time there is a change, it will be updated accordingly. So now let's move on to the next thing, that is the differences between static and dynamic site. So in a static site we use pre-built content, as I already told you, and in the dynamic site the page code is generated accordingly and dynamically. In the static web pages we use HTML codes to generate static web pages, whereas in dynamic pages are achieved, as I told you here, page is generated accordingly. It has the content, but that content that there is going to be a pic here, it is coded by using server-side scripting languages that are ASP, JSP or PHP. And next one is, every time you ask for home.html, you'll be getting the same page, as there is not going to be any upgrade or update in the page. You are going to get the same response every time you ask for home.html, right? But in case of dynamic website, you might get a different page every time you make a request, right? And the last one is, content changes only when publisher updates it, and that's obvious. One who has created home.html can only make changes to the page, whereas in dynamic website even the user can update the page. As you know, you use Facebook website, you are the user, you can also change your profile image, you can also change your photos, you can also change your information, whereas in case, because you have not created Facebook website, but you are a user and you are enabled to do the changes. So Facebook is an example of a dynamic website, whereas if there is any website of a company, say xyzprivatelimited.com, right? So you can only visit the information, cannot change it, right? You can only read it. So these are few differences between static and dynamic website, and for the further topics we'll be looking into the next video. Till then, have a nice day, keep